Hello everybody and welcome for being here. I'm so glad you've made it. You turn up every day. It's like your year of yes. You're here, it's high challenge, it's tricky, but you're under the wing and guidance of Mrs. C, and I'm here to ensure that we make our writing the very best it can be. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we are going to be practically perfect, and I really do care and notice when you make an effort with all your thinking and writing. Now, we work together every day. We use a hashtag English with Mrs. C, and if you want me to see your work, that's how you get hold of me. And we even have our own jingle. Our own jingle sets the tone, sets the pace. And it goes like this. We have fire coming off our pens and pencils because we really do drive our thinking with hard effort. It is pens up, think at pace, jot quick, writing's ace. And your writing is absolutely phenomenal at the moment. I am wading through all this work. There are so many submissions and I read all of them. You are truly wonderful. Okay, let's have a recap of time. It's pacey, we've got to get ready, and I give you 45 seconds really early on a thinking side. This is where you can glimmer and show me what you can do by yourselves. Then we come back together for a chat. We can chat and jot, or you can just jot. And you look at Mrs. C's words and you choose and you add more. And I always give you 3 minutes to write, which is longer than you think. And lots of children out there are deepening the moment, and that is truly joyous to see. Okay, now who's on my celebration wall? Well, I want to do a shout out for 2 people actually on the celebration wall. The first shout out is for Mrs. Aitchinson. That's her teacher name in the teacher world, but in the real world, her name is Jenny. And she is being given a big sort of glorious glitter from Mrs. Mackenzie, because Mrs. Mackenzie is noticing she's looking a little bit down lately, and she wanted to tell her she is awesome and she always puts children first. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And I'm now going to talk about a child in her class, Iris, and look at this child working their socks off. It is deep. It is wonderful, it is well crafted, and what Iris is really good at, she's a real talent. She's very good at zooming in and actually magnifying the small, helping us. She has all these little necklaces of noticings. She's really a very gifted writer. Look at this sentence here. A fraying, Mrs. C, a fraying fishing rope intertwined with plastic lay on the boulder. It was as if it was trying to alert her. Oh, Iris, I could read your work all day. Now, who's made it to the super sentence stacking wall? Well, we've got Olivia Hughes from Bays Church Primary. You're in year 4, and this is excellent. Look how this is written. Erin noticed scratches and scrapes on the rock from sunken submarines. Can you see there how she's taken the model but used it to shape her thinking but injected her own ideas? It is gorgeous. And Amy, I think you're also under the wing of this fabulous teacher that's had a shout out from Horsforth New Lathe School. You get the Alliteration Award. Look at this, a miniature mud skipper mining on the debris of the sea. And George, well, George, how impressive. You are only 6 and you've come here with a wonder of words. Well done, George. You go to Mayflower Primary and look at this. She blinked and looked at the spotty dogfish swishing in the seaweed. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of all of you all over the world as we come together live in this moment to get better. Okay, so you need a bit of time to get ready. Make sure you're ready to write. Fold a piece of paper in half. Make sure you've got your double page spread. Once you've got your two halves on your left side, draw 2 lines to cut that side into 3 learning chunks. Then every learning chunk gets cut in half. So we have 2 word banks at learning chunk 1, 2 word banks at learning chunk 2, and 2 word banks at learning chunk 3. And we always put on the screen an indication with a yellow box where you've got to write your words. Off you go. And what guides our thinking? What guides our work? We're always working under the writing rainbow. It is bright, it is colourful, and it illuminates our thinking. What we do is we choose a lens and we write through lenses, either the ideas of writing up here, or the grammar of writing, or the techniques of writing. And over time, I've been choosing different lenses, and we come back to them quickly and practice them in action, in context. So, what are our 3 lenses today that guide our steps to success? Well, number 1, we're going to be writing a simile. I love this lens, and I love that it has an equal sign on it, because we're going to take one object, one item, and compare it to something else. The second step to success, we're going to zoom into dialogue, and in particular, we're going to be really accurate with our punctuation around dialogue. But I'm here to help you, don't worry. And the third lens is we're going to be looking at prefixes, and I'm going to explain what they are and help you find new ones. Okay, let's get on with our writing for today and find out where we are on the narrative map. This is Erin's story. Erin is our central character. We are pushing Erin through the plot points and considering, are they low moments or are they high moments for her? We're just here on plot point 8, and the action changes. We've really slowed the writing down up until this point, where she's noticing all the beauty of the sea creatures and other objects. But now something changes just here. It is positive though, and we're writing with +8 positivity. This is Erin's rescuer. We've already met the Black Rock. We know he has kind eyes and an aged face. Hello and welcome back. Our internet cut out there, but we're all back together again. Thank you for being patient. Okay, we're thinking about a simile, and I'm going to start in a really unusual way. One of my favourite writers, Neil Gaiman, starts a simile in this way too, and I'm going to borrow his thinking. Quick as a flick. Quick as a flick, and then he thinks about things that are quick. I'm thinking about Black Rock's hand. Well, I've got some choices as a writer. I could have Black Rock's hand come quickly out of the water, or I could have it come slowly out of the water. That's up to me. Let me write down quick. Let me write down fast. Let me write down slow. Obviously, quick and fast are in the same synonym family. Slow is a different quality of movement. I'm going to gather a rhyming word because I want to mimic that idea. I'm going to write down flick. I'm going to borrow that from Neil Gaiman. Quick as a flick. Fast. Now, that's a tricky one. Fast. I'm going to write down blast. Fast as a blast. Slow as a blow. I'm wondering if you can come up with some other rhyming words. I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. I wonder what you could do by yourselves. You're really good at that. You've got some great ideas. Remember to star the ideas that you think are extra special and will really work. I'm going to add another one in that with fast. Fast and mast. Mast of a ship. That's quite interesting, that one, because it's kind of got sea and water associations. You don't have to do that though. Watch me now in an audit and add and see which ones match. You can tick them, or you can borrow some of mine. Audit and add. What I'm going to do is help you to write a really ambitious simile. It's quite tricky, and we've got to think about it in two stages. Our simile is about the movement of how quick or slow Black Rock's hand emerges from the water. But I think it'd be really clever if we can think about that movement, about other things in the water that move. I've got some ideas. Let me show you. I've gathered some things here that move. A dolphin's tail. And I've got a little photograph there. An octopus tentacle. And there's a lot of tentacles on an octopus. A hermit crab. Well, the shell moves when the crab's inside and scuttling along, and the crab moves inside the shell. Here, the water spray of a whale. A school of clownfish. Do you remember me telling you that if they are the same species, we call them a school, and if they are different species gathered together and moving together, we call them a shoal? Isn't that interesting? Oh, and look at this neon luminous anglerfish. Well, it's darting around in the depths. This is the sort of thing I want you to do. I'll show you. I'm going to take one of my speed words. It could be a quick word or a slow word. Look at this. I'm going to take flick. Then I'm going to talk about something over here, one of my ideas that moves. I'm going to take the dolphin's tail, the flick of a dolphin's tail. And then I'm going to drop a verb that ends in ing. I could have swishing. I could have dancing. Skimming. I'm going to write dancing. I want you to have a go at doing that. Taking one of your words that rhyme over on this side. So it might be blast. And then I'm going to think of something under the water or above the water that moves. A speedboat. I'm going to be more specific. A speedboat's propeller. I hope I've spelt that right. I can check it in a minute. It might be ER, actually. I'll check in a moment. I'm going to be a brave speller. And the movement is going to be spinning or turning or racing. I'm going to put racing, I think. I wonder if you could do one by yourself. Off you go, jotters. Okay, can you see how I'm trying to build up the rhythm and rhyme at the beginning of the sentence? Because I could start this sentence like this now. I could say, quick as a flick of a dolphin's tail dancing on the sea. I could say, as fast as a blast of a speedboat's propeller racing across the horizon. What about a slow idea? If I take this word blow and I think about the whale's water spray, I could have as slow as a blow of the whale's water spray erupting at the surface. I'm going to give you some time now, extra time, to come up with another idea. Off you go. Okay, great. I can't wait to read your similes. I'm going to help you craft and build those and compose them in a very specific way. So don't worry, I'm here to help you. What I want to do now is gather some verbs, some very precise verbs about how Black Rock's hand comes out of the water. I'm going to collect those verbs in the past tense. Most of them will end in ed. They are the regular, more common ones, but they can still be in the past tense and be irregular, less common. Black Rock's hand rose out of the water. Some of them might be better with some prepositions to place them in the environment. Rose out of the water. Black Rock's hand uncurled. Okay, jotters, we're on word bank 2. Can you add 4 more verbs to the list to describe his hand? I'm going to add some more verbs to my list, and I think you might already have some of these. Remember, if you do, tick them off. I've been saying this word already, so I'm going to write it down. Emerged. His hand emerged through the water. Off we go, audit and adding. Oh, excellent. Let's move to the writing side. We're going to use all of our ideas to build an early little bit of rhyme into a simile. And then we're going to use our precise verb. Okay, here we go. Onto the writing side. Look now as Mrs. C chooses words, makes changes, edits, and always rereads. I do like fast as a blast. Fast as a blast. I think I'm going to have quick as a flick. Quick as a flick. Of a dolphin's tail dancing. I like that. Oh, quick as a flick. As an octopus squirting ink. Oh, that's good as well. Quick as a flick of a dolphin's tail. Dolphin's tail flicking. Oh no, I've used flick. I said dancing, didn't I? Let me use that. Then that's going to act as a subordinating clause. It doesn't make sense on its own, but if I put a comma here, I can continue with the sentence and write the main clause. Quick as a flick of a dolphin's tail dancing. And then this leads into the comparison. Black Rock, remember it's a capital, Black Rock is his name. Black Rock, oh look, apostrophe S because his hand belongs to him. Black Rock hand reached. Now if I use one of these verbs I might need to add in a preposition, I might not need to. Reached out, pushed up, extended through. Let me have a go. Black Rock's hand emerged. Emerged up, emerged through. Both of these work. I'm going to have through, I think. Through the water and carried Erin. And carried Erin in his palm. I perhaps don't need to say that, that's extra because we've got the hand. Okay, writers, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to impress me with your quick or slow simile. Okay, we are now moving to learning chunk 2 and Erin is going to talk. Well, she's in the fresh air now and she's going to say something while Black Rock holds her high above the sea. Okay, now let's think about that dialogue this moment. It really can be anything we can believe is coming out of Erin's mouth. We could have a statement an exclamation, or even a question. If something has a strong sense of feeling, we can put an exclamation mark. If we ask Black Rock a question, we can add a question mark. If we just say a statement, we can add a full stop. It's our writerly choice. I've had some ideas about what she might say at this moment. What a rock. I'm not going to worry at the moment about my punctuation. I'm just going to get my ideas down quickly. What a rock. That would be something that I would use an exclamation mark for. What about this? You are my friend, but it sounds a bit formal. I want it to sound more chatty. So you are, I'm going to make it into a you're. That is more chatty. I'm going to take off the A and put in an apostrophe to show the missing letter. So actually it would look like this, contracted form. You're my friend. What about a question? Could you take me home? Using the modal verb could. Could you take me home? And when I put that in the writing, I would definitely use a question mark. I want you to not worry about punctuation yet, but jotters, you've got 45 seconds actually to come up with 3 ideas. It's not long. It'd be great if one of them's a question. Okay, I've had another idea. It's really good. Look, the rock rescuer. The rock rescuer. Now, the determiner is okay there, but if I turn that into my rock rescuer there and use the possessive determiner, then that will mean that she really appreciates him. I'm going to add more to my list now. Let's audit and add together. One of the things I want to do now is get ready as a writer not to use said. I love said. Said must be the most dominant way that you describe dialogue in stories. However, there are certain high drama times in stories where you can lean on alternatives. I think this is one of those times. Erin, we could show the reader she is shocked, or she's really uncertain, and I might need some alternatives to said if I'm going to drop a question. The sort of thing I'm thinking about instead of said, what about yelped, Erin, showing that she's shocked? What about this word to show that she's a little bit uncertain, stammered, Erin? Or what about this word to indicate the question, inquired, Erin? I think you're going to be really good at this. I'm going to give you 45 seconds to add shock, uncertain, and question words instead of said. Off you go. We could have inquired, enquired. Both of these are used in the UK. I'm going to add more to my list now. I've had a really good idea for shocked, gasped. I had a really good idea for uncertain as well. Squeaked, just to show she's a little bit nervous. Okay, audit and adders, off we go. Okay, get so excited, I'm running out of paper. We are now going to move to writing side. And because we've just jotted our dialogue down quickly, we haven't really thought about the punctuation, and that's where our thinking needs to be. So look closely at the sort of things you need to think about when you're dropping in, talking into the story. First things first, the spoken part must be indicated to the reader, and we use inverted commas. Two little inverted commas hanging just under the first line. Then we always start our dialogue with a capital letter. I'm going to put a question in the story. Please, can you take me home? That please starts with a capital letter. Please, can you take me home? Now, when you come to the end of dialogue, you've actually got probably 4 choices. There might be more, but 4 are your main part of thinking. Now, I know the punctuation to end this sentence is a question mark. Now, if it isn't a question and you're going to write a statement or a comment, and there is not going to be a said erin afterwards, you put a full stop and your inverted commas. If you're going to put a said erin or pleaded erin or muttered erin, you must put a comma and then write muttered erin. And then your full stop. If you are going to inject some strong feeling, you saved me, and you feel it is delivered with strong feeling, you can put an exclamation mark, and that would live inside the inverted commas, and then it could be the final mark, or you could carry on and say how she said it. So let's have a look at Mrs. C's dialogue. This is good. Started with the inverted commas, then the capital letter. Please can you take me home? It's a question. And now I'm going to finish to tell the reader the talking is over, and then I'm going to use a question word. She requested. And then I put in my full stop. I'm going to be looking really closely at your punctuation, everybody. Off you go. Thank you to everyone who has been precise with punctuation, and I can't wait to see if any of you have deepened the moment. You can't plot push, you can only say more about the moment we are on. Okay, let's go to learning chunk 3 together. And as we move down, our focus is going to be prefixes. But before I talk about that, I want us to work in word bank 1. I want it to be now almost what you would call bold and underlined and emphasised in writing. We want to really mark this moment, and we want to think about how this is really quite a historic and unforgettable moment for Erin. It will never leave her memory or her mind. And I want to choose words now about her knowing how special this is or how emotionally important it was. I'm going to be thinking across the inner thought lens and the feeling lens. This is the sort of thing I want you to think about. Erin knew this was an amazing event. Erin understood that she would never experience anything like this again. Erin sensed. They're my ideas. I wonder if you could add 2 more in the department of thinking and in the department of feeling. Off you go. We're going to go straight into an audit and add, but before we do, look at this idea I've had. Erin believed this was a special day. Right, I'm going to add more. Look at your word bank. Your vocabulary vaults are vivid and vibrant and really impressive. I want to move now to the second word bank and talk about the prefix un. That prefix is really interesting. It is a way when you add it to a word, it actually flips that word on its head. It takes the core word to have the opposite meaning. It's very forceful, in fact. I'm going to add un to beatable. Beatable means something can do better than it. Maybe win it in a race, in a rank order. You know, if you thought your day was rubbish, then you knew that in life you'd beat it with a better experience. But maybe at this moment, Erin feels that what she's experienced under the sea and in the arms of Black Rock is unbeatable. It's a really interesting prefix because a lot of people think it makes words negative, but actually, if you put it with a fairly dull or negative word in the first place, it can make it quite positive. The day was unbeatable. The day was unbelievable. Work through this list and have a think about what some of these tricky words mean. Off you go, jotters. Okay, I don't think we need to audit and add, but I do want to just talk through some of these words. If something's easily forgotten, it's because it doesn't graft on your memory. But I think Erin would feel this is unforgettable, completely unexpected, and actually, if she hadn't have been there, she might not even have been able to imagine it. It was unimaginable. Now, this is a really unusual word, canny, but if we put the prefix in and make it uncanny, when we say something is uncanny, it is quite beyond what is normal. It is quite beyond what we'd expect. It was an uncanny event. It was unpredictable, yes. It was unreal, unlikely, and it was unhurried. We know that because we had a lot of slow motion moments in our writing, and all the pupils who deepened, you took even more time to zoom in and show us the detail of Under the Sea. Okay, let's move to writing side together. And we're going to finish with this sense of marking the occasion in the writing, how it's impressed on Erin's mind and her feelings. I would make a decision whether to write a thinking sentence or a feeling sentence. I'm going to write a thinking one. Erin understood. That's good. Erin realised. Erin knew. Erin knew. Deep down. Oh, I like that. Erin knew deep down. This was... Now, do you remember we did superlatives before? And superlatives, when you want to turn up the intensity. And superlatives are right at the top of the intensity scale. And I'm going to drop a most now to indicate a superlative. Erin knew deep down this was the most unbeatable, unimaginable, uncanny, unreal. Oh, they all work, don't they? This was the most unforgettable. It was the most... Good job, I'm rereading. I missed out the determiner there. Was the most unforgettable moment of her life. I know you're going to be able to do a big finish at this plot point. You've got 3 minutes. And if you write a thinking sentence, maybe you could deepen with a feeling one. Off you go. Well done, writers. You really are remarkable. I love your effort. You're never giving up. And the amount of work that we're getting handed in, it's truly wonderful. Now I'm going to read my work back. But before I do that, as tomorrow is our last plot point for The Secret of Black Rock, we've got a special guest. So make sure you're here with me at the same time, 9:45. She's my friend and she helps me out with words and I want you to meet her. There's a bit here, Erin knew deep down. I edited that in. I'm going to read this back now. Quick as a flick of a dolphin's tail dancing, Black Rock's hand emerged through the water and carried Erin. Please, can you take me home? She requested. Erin knew deep down this was the most unforgettable moment of her life. Oh, I can't wait to read your writing. And remember, and some of you might need help from grown-ups who have the shakiest hands in the universe. Make sure I can see your work clearly. Come on, mums, dads, gran and grandpas. Make sure it's a really good photograph. I'm out there in social media on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and you can find me at Jane Considine Education. And Teacher Squad, if you want a shout out from tomorrow, you can put your requests in because I've got a helper and she can do some shout outs for me. Okay, I will see you tomorrow for our finale of The Secret of Black Rock at 9:45. Till then.